What's up, guys? Patrick here, and today I have a video that might take me a couple of days, but I thought today that I would talk about why I quit Fortnite and just my problems with it overall today, why I don't like it that much, just, why I've just drew myself away from it as far as I could, okay? Now, I hope you will enjoy. Let's get right into this. Now, let's just get into like the main part. Uh, I just want to get into this first, then I'll like do my little nitpicks at the end. Or two little main parts, then I'll do my nitpicks at the end. But first off, I thought that I'd talk about the community. Now, the Fortnite community's been around for a while, and if anything, I'm not a big fan of it purely because it's either clickbait, and I mean extremely clickbait, or it's toxic. Now, I used to be a big Fortnite person, and at one point, I'll admit, if you look at my very first video, I kind of used other clips like the other YouTubers did, because I couldn't make my own Fortnite content at the time. I didn't know how. So, I mean, call me pathetic or whatever you want. But that's just the way it was for me. Like, I could never really knew how to make Fortnite content myself. So, I always used to, just resort to downloading clips of people. Now, I thought that I would just start out by saying, this is really wrong. Don't do it. It's just a cheap way to get content, really, and I just don't suggest it, but pretty much that's just what I did. I would get content, and I make montages, and I'd put a clickbait thumbnail title. Now, here's why I really just drew myself away from it, and why I still don't like it, and why I really disagree with it. Recently, there was a YouTuber named Supreme, and Supreme did these videos where he would make clickbait videos on this YouTuber named Laserbeam. Now, if you don't know, Laserbeam was one of the biggest Fortnite YouTubers. His views have been slipping just a little bit recently, and he's resorted to literally having to be with PewDiePie almost in a way, I guess you could say, to get views. But, and James Charles, might I add that. But, I mean, he's just, he would download these clips of Laserbeam, maybe reacting to something in his old videos, and he'd make it look like he's reacting to something big, like, say, a James Charles video, which, that wasn't even out at the time, but, like, that would be, like, an example, right? Anyway, that's pretty much what he would do, and he'd just clickbait like that over and over again, and a lot of people didn't like it, right? And I can see why. It was quite annoying at times, and recently got called out for it, and one of what he says in this video, he says, I never actually had the game installed. Now, this led me to believe a lot of things. A lot of these Fortnite montage YouTubers that you're watching don't even have the game installed, okay? They're just doing this for views. And that's one of the reasons why I hate the Fortnite community. A lot of it's just fake, okay? Now, let's get into the community itself, the people who actually play the game, I find that a lot of them are either salty, extremely toxic, they don't actually care about the game itself, or like, they're just playing it because it's it was what was going on now. Minecraft, literally took over it in searches, which is kind of pathetic. But, yeah, it's just, a lot of them are toxic when they lose. A lot of them are just like, they just complain over everything. And then on top of that, people literally had a lawsuit because of a clan in the game, aka FaZe. Tfue sued FaZe, if you didn't know that. One of the biggest YouTube feuds right now. And when you really look at it in the grand scheme of things, it's getting both of them views. And it's hard to even follow it, especially since one of the FaZe members made a diss track, who was a little kid, by the way. He was 11. He's not even supposed to be signed to FaZe, first of all. But out of salt of him getting exposed by Tfue, what he does, he makes a diss track on him, and in it he says that it was just there for fun. But, I mean, it got him the views that he needed, and at the time his channel was, you could say, dying. So, I mean, I don't know, the community is just like salty or toxic almost like that. I don't know. But yeah, that's just one of the things that really annoyed me. And moving on to the next segue, the players in it are super toxic. Like, I mean super toxic. I'm not going to point any fingers. Not at all. But, you know, some of the people that I'm playing with in this video are actually pretty toxic. I can't lie. And that's why I don't play with them anymore. That's why I don't play Fortnite anymore. Some people can really just drive you away from the game like that. Anyway, that's like the just the whole community in general. Clickbait, you know, popular YouTubers that everybody talks about. Also, I find like they focus too much on one person at a time. Like Ninja never actually said he was the best Fortnite player, but then when somebody he was just conceived as that, right? Then when somebody who's considered better than Ninja comes in the Fortnite community, just immediately starts hating on Ninja, like, oh, he said he was the best and all that stuff. Ninja never really ever said he was the best Fortnite player. People just said that because at the time he really was the best Fortnite player. It just really annoyed me. Alright, so for the next part I have gameplay itself. Gameplay, I mean, gameplay is the core factor of Fortnite, but the type of gameplay Fortnite really is, when you think about it, is exploits. All Fortnite is just a bunch of exploits. The whole game is exploits. And, I mean, here's the thing. With a Switch player, or with most console players, the only skill you're going to really need is building. But for Switch players, they can't build, so they literally purely just rely on exploits. And then we have console players like me, who we can aim, unlike Switch players. But want to know what we can't do? A lot of us have struggled with building. Now, not all of us are face sways, okay? So, we're not going to be able to just pull a quick, you know, a million 90s and get away with it on you know. So, it really confuses me, to why, like, we have to, like, you know, play the way we do. The way we play is really frustrating, and we're forced to play that way. And then there's PC players, and a lot of them either can't aim, can build, or can't aim and can't build, can aim but can't build, or can aim and can kind of build, looking at you, Ninja. And it's just, the whole game, when you really think about it, all of the factors are going to need exploits. In this gameplay, I'm ramp rushing, and then I pull out attack. Wanna what that opponent is using? A shotgun. Wanna know how I beat him? Well, it was an exploit. He couldn't build as fast as I could. I just used a pump, and I one-pumped him to the head. He was using attack. A pump is more close range, attack is more far range. The whole game, when it really comes down to it, it's just exploits. That's why I really hate the core gameplay for Fortnite itself. It just really annoys me. And, well, when you don't end up with a weapon and somebody else does, your pickaxe should do 30 damage instead of 20. A lot of the time, it's 20 damage. Sometimes 19 for some reason, which that doesn't help your case. You just have to hit them an extra time. And, I mean, it's a really weird way of balancing out the game, and I really just don't like it. Another part of the gameplay I absolutely hate is people who have a certain skin are perceived as a better, you know, player. I run into soccer skins all the time, and a lot of the time they're trash players. Some of them are on Switch, some of them are on PC and don't know what they're doing, and just some of them just, they're not good at all. And it's just, it all comes down to the skins and the exploits. It's like really, it's kind of strange. Like that bunny brawler that you just see me kill, that's supposed to be a sweat skin, but they were camping under stairs. So I mean, take that how you want to. I don't think that necessarily makes you the best player, but I mean anyway. On top of that, you're perceived as if you have a rare skin that you're really good. For example, FaZe Scissors is considered one of the worst FaZe members. He has one of the most rare skins in the game, but that doesn't necessarily make him one of the best players. I mean, it really does annoy me, especially for that part. It's not like FaZe Scissors is the best in FaZe, which, I mean, anybody can say that. But in my 100% honest opinion, he can aim, but not really build that well, and a lot of the time focuses on exploits to win. It's what really annoys me. People see, a certain skin, and they just think automatically, this player is better than this player. And I mean, it's just, I don't know. And this part is kind of like with the skin thing, except with names. In Fortnite, if you don't know, you can change your name. Now, literally, and I don't care what you say, if you're a Twitch TV, someone's going to think you're a sweat, or that you're just a noob who wants people to follow you on Twitch. If, you have FaZe in your name, people are gullible enough to think you're a part of FaZe, or they're just not going to take you seriously. They're going to think that they can go into the fight, perfectly fine, but then you're just going to end up, dying, considering the person is most likely going to be a sweat. Normally, people who put their name as FaZe think that they're worthy enough to be in FaZe, which is where I really don't get it, because a lot of them, I mean, I wouldn't say that they're worthy enough to be in FaZe, but they are great. But then a lot of them are just absolute trash, and it's kind of a mess in my opinion. I don't know. Now my little nitpicks. Anybody who plays on console is going to have a big different disadvantage to somebody who plays on, say, Xbox. For example, an Xbox controller is way harder to adapt to. And then on top of that, you already have the PC player who is most likely going to be better than you anyway, because they have that big skill gap, they've been playing for longer, or, they've just been, they're just better because they have more buttons to press, and you just have a little controller. It's like, I don't know, there's just something about it. On top of that, the gameplay itself, I feel like they're constantly adding and removing exploits for no reason. Like, the pump was a weapon in the game that almost matched an exploit, but it was like at the point where you couldn't consider it an exploit because it was just so OG and they've just done so many changes to it. I don't know. So, when I say exploits are part of the game, I mean most people use them, but the pump was almost like it was the game, despite the fact it was obviously an exploit. It just had so much that, nothing else, no other gun could have. Hell, at one point it literally had range, but we're not going to talk about that. And, I mean, when you really just dumb it down, pumps weren't really unbalanced at the time they removed them, but they just did it because, well, in my opinion, it was for the sole sake of attention. When the pump got removed, everybody was mad. They added a new shotgun, which at first everybody was like, oh, this is okay, and then they realized how horrible it was to edit with. And I mean, you can just call it what it is, but in my opinion, it really annoyed me. And then you have the AR, which is constantly being buffed, and then nerfed and just buffed. And there's something that I've actually noticed with ARs. If you take a look back, the Scar would do 30-something damage a hit or 40-something damage a hit, and a headshot could literally do up to, I think it was 80 damage. It was kind of overpowered, right? Well, they nerfed the Scar, and what they slowly did, they're slowly buffing it up back to what it used to be like. And I'm not kidding, you can take a look at the buff patch notes. Normally they buff it up like 3 damage, 2 damage, sometimes they nerf it 1 damage if they don't like what it's at, or they just want to do it again. And they slowly buff it to what it is until people realize it like several updates later, and they think it was just done in this update. Then that's used for traffic and collision within the clickbait community, and it's just a mess, and I really hate that. And then you just have, the SMGs, which I honestly don't even want to get into, but hell, I'm going to get into them because it's kind of pathetic, and it's Fortnite's weak point. Fortnite, and I don't care what you say, they cannot make an SMG, and I mean cannot make an SMG. I have used all the SMGs. Hell, the burst one was trash. The suppressed one was nerfed to the point where it was trash. Then it slowly became an exploit in the game, like it was just a normal thing. Then they removed the suppressed one. Then they added it back again, and it's just the suppressed one shouldn't even exist anymore. It just feels like that. They added back the tactical SMG for like 7 days. They removed it, and this is all just through me playing at my friends and through videos, because I deleted Fortnite. This is just old footage that I've gathered, and it's like, it's just why. I feel like sometimes they do stuff just for the sake of doing it, and it just really bothers me. Another thing I've found is that they remove classic snipers from the game that just shouldn't be removed. Like, for an example, a while ago they removed they removed the burst, and don't ask me why. They just did. I mean, it's not like it was gonna change much, but they just decided to remove it. And heck, what do you know? Everybody was acting like it was one of the biggest things in the game. I mean, you might not see what I'm saying, but just trust me on this one, okay? And that's just what I really hate about the core gameplay. Now, just a couple nitpicks. Sometimes the controllers will just randomly make you move somewhere, almost like the game's taking control of the, controller. They add random noise vibrations. Don't ask me why this is, but they just did, I guess. Actually, one of the reasons this was so bad is because it was affecting other people when they played other games other than Fortnite. So poor people back in Season 3, they might have just decided to play Fortnite one day, got controller vibrations just randomly as a little marketing gimmick for Fortnite for their next season, whenever the sky was making a weird sound. And then all of a sudden, they got random vibrations throughout their whole game. They turn off vibrations. What do you know? They'd still get it. It was a really weird glitch, and they fixed it luckily, but there have been signs that the glitch is still around through gameplay of a recent Call of Duty Battlefield 5, or Call of Duty Battlefield 5 gameplay, where the guy's controller is randomly shaking, and it's just so dumb, and it's been like that since, that season came out. So, I mean, it's just really dumb. Another nitpick is that the building controls in the game are sometimes really scuffed, and the editing controls are really scuffed, and Fortnite doesn't bother to fix it. Like in this video, in this thing, my ping was like really good. It was like 10, and you can still notice there's a big building delay just randomly, and an editing delay, and just a whole game delay itself. Also, sometimes the game thinks that it's on stretch resolution, like in that kill, where my sensitivity just randomly got all wonky, and this happens to a lot of PC players when their sensitivity is, lower, or like console players when they're playing on a keyboard. It just gets really messy. Also, just a small thing that I hate Fortnite for doing, or Epic for doing, they removed you being able to switch to your keyboard mid-match, so every single time you ready up, you have to be on your keyboard. Like, what's the point of that? Like, I get it, so you can get on the console servers, but you guys are the people who added in the servers itself. Like, you guys, I don't know, it's really, really annoying. But I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Well, you probably didn't, because a lot of my viewers, like, I'd say 15% of my membership are just viewership, or just people who watch Fortnite videos. So, I mean, this isn't going to help my channel at all, but recently I've been getting stuff on Twitter like, oh, why haven't you been uploading Fortnite videos? And I just wanted to clear some of that up, bro. Like, I really did. And I normally, I would tune into Bobby Carter's streams and do a live stream for it itself. Well, I never did that anymore. I don't do that anymore. I don't really like Bobby Carter anymore. Not that I grew out of him, just he's using these tactics recently that I find. I did an interview with Swazzy J, if you want to check that out, but I find that they're just not really, things that I like. I mean, he's kind of using his viewers for clickbait and just for random needless support, might I add. And yeah, just think of it how you do. I don't like the game anymore. I'm not returning back to it for a little while. I mean, if I do, I'm probably going to unfriend some toxic people. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed. I don't have much else to say about the game. That's just why, so I could clear some things up. Also, I tried to record a storytime video, and I was like, oh, I should probably resolve this, because I couldn't record a storytime video. I don't know what it was. I kept on messing up. So if I was stuttery throughout this video, just let me know in the comment section down below. I was probably stuttery, I can't lie. But I'm going to let the gameplay roll just for a little bit. I wanted to show you guys some of this gameplay, because I actually think it's kind of good. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Just state your opinion in the comment section down below. Drop a like, subscribe if you enjoyed, and like if you enjoyed, I should have said also. Share this with your friend, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.